Okay, we have about 4 minutes to start. If you haven't checked your email, please look for the handout, which is displayed on the lower left corner here. The PDF file has more than 10 pages of images I collected from the internet. And also a few images, including this one on my table. I copied after the original, as you can see on the lower left. It's the original. Okay, I'm going to record this anyway, before I forgot. I'm going to mute you guys, and you can unmute yourself. Let's wait 2 minutes while we go through the pages of the handout. It's quite difficult to select which one to do, actually. And let me know what other paintings you are interested in. I think okay, I just turned the echo off. I'm hearing myself. Okay, so and this is a live class on Zoom. I stream live on YouTube, but I will not be able to answer questions on YouTube. And the handouts only provided to the audience in the classroom. And if you like, you can join the online class. It has all the materials, including the handouts and the previous class recordings, everything. And you can submit your homework for critique after the class. Just let you know, if some of you are already signed up, you can use the website to post your homework. Okay, we have 1 minute. And today we're going to start with a little mounting demo. I think it's very important to show you this part because the painting, the Asian brush painting needs to be mounted, flattened afterwards, after painted. It's different from watercolor. And it's not considered finished if you didn't mount it. And you'll see the color intensity, the true color after mounting. Okay. So Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for joining this class again. And I got a new student, Chris, I think. So welcome, Chris.
Oh, thank you, Henry. I'm here.
Okay, nice to see you.
Eating lunch.
Oh yeah, okay. Where are you from?
Central New York.
Oh, New York.
But I'm actually down in North Carolina right now for 3 months.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to jump in, you're welcome to do that if you're watching it on YouTube. This class is starting in September, I believe. This series is called the Classical Chinese Landscape Painting, starting from the very early period. We went through a historical survey, first-handed, historical survey. So you copy from masters. It's a master study course. So we pick different representative masters from each period to learn the concept and the techniques. So today we're going to learn a very different style called the Cold Moon painting school or style in Shanghai, developed in Shanghai in early 20th century, end of the 19th century, by an artist named Tao Lengyue. Tao Lengyue, okay, is his Lengyue is Cold Moon is his nickname given by an American colleague in the university, Yale China University, where he taught, because his painting often depict the moonlit landscape. So his colleague, American professor, joked that they call him the Cold Moon professor, or Professor Cold Moon. So he later adopted this in a phonetic translation. Actually, a very good Chinese translation. Let me write that down. Maybe someone can help me. So his name is Lengyue. Let me write that first. Tao Lengyue. Len means cold. Yue means moon. Tao is his family name, comes first in Chinese. Len L-E-N-G. Len Yue. Y-U-E. That's his. Let me see if I focused. Okay. And his artist name. Meng. Let me get some more ink here. Meng means dream. Ke is, I think, kind of boat. There's a Chinese idiom has to do with this. I don't exactly record the story. Could be Zhuangzi, or who, a famous dream on a boat or something. So Ke Meng. It sounds like a cold moon in Chinese. Maybe in dialect, in Shanghai dialect is even more close. Ke Meng, he had usually we call artists call themselves Daoren, the Taoist, the way Tao, like Laozi Tao. Daoren means Taoist. It's not necessarily priest of Taoism, but on the way of the Tao means Ke Meng Daoren. So Cold Moon Taoist. That's his artist name. Very artistic, right? So he was born in the year of 1895 which is still in the Qing dynasty, which was overthrown by the democratic China, Republic China. In 1911, he was about 17 or 16, I forgot. You can calculate that, right? So he was born, I'm sorry, 1895 to 1985. So he lived 91 years old. Through three different dynasties, we call it in Chinese history, namely the Qing dynasty, the ROC, and the PRC. So he has gone at least two revolutions, the Communist Revolution in 1949 and 1911, the change of dynasty to republic. So in his life, he concentrated on his hobby, no matter, since he was 8 years old, he knows what he loved to do, and he continued to paint this theme. It's very, very common that Chinese artists devote all their life, at least 40 years or 30 years, on a single subject matter, like Bamboo by Zheng Banqiao, Qing Dynasty, or Lobster by Qi Baishi, or Horse by Xu Beihong. Xu Beihong, by the way, is his contemporary. So at his time, the Chinese education system is not limited to the traditional culture. He received well education in both Chinese tradition and the Western science. His father was a principal of a primary or middle school, a very good teacher, and he developed his art talent with a very good primary school teacher. I forgot the name, but you can find it in the handout. So he taught a private class outside the school, after school, and among his students, there are at least 4 top rank artists, and we have mentioned one at least in our class, Wu Hufan. If you know, he was the teacher of Zhang Naqian, maybe at least a friend of Zhang Naqian, and he taught C.C. Wang in New York, the Chinese collector and artist, because he basically contributed to the Met. Most of his collections was, the Metropolitan Museum has all his Chinese painting collections. C.C. Wang it was a student of Wu Hufan. So Wu Hufan was Tao's primary school classmate. Yan Wenliang, he's the earliest Chinese oil painter and professor, and then some other artists. Or his primary school. His teacher taught both the Western and the Chinese painting techniques and concepts. So he was well educated. If you look at the handout here, you can see the traditional painting that he did. Let's see. And here's the traditional painting. You can see this one is after Huang Gongwang, the Yuan Dynasty literati painter, but he did very elegant color. That's different. You didn't see this in the Yuan Dynasty original. And he started to develop this kind of Western perspective, I would call, because he is one of the first artists to use a camera as a reference tool. He traveled a lot. And he has a large kind of 15 by 15 or something like that film camera, German, very high quality camera. And he became a very rich professor when he was very young. I think maybe 20 something. In the Yale China University, Changsha, so he could afford the camera. And he took you guys. And this is Mi Dot, the raining landscape we learned from another Shanghai school artist. So Shanghai school is kind of no school, so to speak. Each individual artist has their own style, but generally they are influenced by there's a fusion, with Western art. So he did this one. I think it's an oil landscape. We have a lot of artists here who's well established in Western painting. So you might think it's very primitive, right? But he was a pioneer in Western, in using Western media to paint Chinese landscape. I know many of you interested in use Chinese media to paint American landscape or your home landscape, wherever you are. This is a trend we started already like 100 years ago, right? And this one, I cannot even tell it's a watercolor or Chinese, but it has inscription. So his painting has the format of Chinese landscape. You can see it's a panoramic kind of composition. It's like a horizontal scroll, normally long scroll, mostly. And it's a hanging scroll format. I have pictures from his exhibition in the, he took pictures of his exhibitions. So it's all scrolls, so mostly like these, and you can see the format has this kind of Western approach. So this tree could be very much larger than the mountain. Unlike those on the right, you can see the more traditional approach. But still, I think it's a contemporary, more modern. You can see the background is very realistic. So that's what we are going to learn. The sky. You don't see this before him, I think. There's a missionary court painter from Italy, Lang Shining. I forgot his Italian name. He paint in Chinese media, but not really like this, in terms of sky and clouds. So we usually don't see this. So there are lots of moon landscape in this handout. And this is the more realistic scenery from Sichuan, the Yanzi Gorges. He traveled there after the Sino-Japanese War broke in 1932 on a boat, on a ship, where actually he met another grandmaster, Huang Binghong, and they painted along the way. And he also took pictures. This one is also from the Yangtze River Gorge, and we can even see his sketch. And this is also the gorge, the three gorges. He took pictures like this. This is another area in Zhejiang province. You can see the rock on the side of the trail. and how he used the photo reference. And this shipping, I mean, this fishing boat is photographed, and he sketched the environment, the composition. And this is the studio work from the trip. And he also did the trees, with photograph and brush painting. Okay, this is what I tried to copy because we only have 2 hours, and so we can only do the sky. This little painting on the corner is me. It's my painting I did as a study for this class, but I already given to our daughter Amy. Her Chinese name is Little Moon, and he was really happy. It's on her apartment wall right now, as a New Year's gift. So his moon is very high, and the clouds is high clouds, right? We call that. Do you know the special term for this kind of cloud? I just learned it at breakfast. Cirrumnucleum. I cannot pronounce that.
Cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus, I think.
Cumulonimbus.
Yeah. Cirrus cumulonimbus, I think.
Yeah, cirrocumulus. Cirrocumulus. Cirrocumulus.
Yeah, can you put it in the chat, or how to spell it? Maybe later is fine.
Yeah, someone can spell that too for us. Thank you. If you could, yeah. Anyway, it's just mottled, another word I just learned, mottled clouds in common language, right? Okay, so let's just, concentrate on this sky part. So you will see a little bit of color, but it's mostly cool color, maybe a little bit yellow, orange kind of around in the moon. But basically, and he negatively painted the shining through the hollow kind of light, and basically the distant ground is very translucent. It's not black. So the one I did here is too black, too dark. I tried to correct that. I do have some other studies. You can see I tried to use different techniques. This one wet into wet. This one, it's all on sized paper. So sized paper is preferred if you have, but I would try to also do it on unsized paper, just see how you want to adapt to that. And this is my first one I did. I did this way. And you can see the round format I did for Amy. I cropped it. Actually, it was like this, and then I cropped. This is the first one. The second one was successful. But then later, I added something like some water reflection. But I turned it upside down, and I thought maybe this one looks more better. So I haven't decided how to finish that. And just show you some other pieces I've done. I used a different approach. I did the watercolor first and then the ink, or you can do the ink first and then watercolor. This is on sized paper also, and I have another unfinished round painting also. So I'm going to show you now. Before I continue, I want to finish this painting by mounting it. So some of you didn't have, you haven't seen this process. It's okay. I use Bristol paper as a backing, and this one looks like the size, just like that. So that's good. Let's do this. Don't need to cut. You can have a larger backing first, and then use a silicone paper, which comes with a film, heat activate adhesive. Okay, it's a little bit too large. And do this. So it's better smaller or exact size because it will stick on the pad. If it's larger, so let me just trim it off. This part takes most of the time, the preparation of paper. The iron only takes 2 minutes. This part, you need to measure it, so cut it, something. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put this film on the surface of the Bristol. I don't think Bristol has a rough side. If it does, use the rough side. You can use watercolor if you like. Watercolor paper, even better. Use the rough side, and then the iron is set to wool or silk, something like that. Wool or silk is kind of low temperature. Low temperature. Don't need very high. Just to activate the adhesive. And then you release this release paper. It has a shining side, which is anti-stick. It's a very useful piece. Save it. It could be used as a dust protecting sheet. So I can use it during the painting process. So I need this, to cover the painting when I dry it, maybe. And then, at this time, I would cover the painting with this piece. You can spray a little bit moisture for best result, just like, create some steam, but you don't want to use steam iron. So I spray outside the table area. That's very important. Don't spray in this area. Just a pinch, a little mist. Just you don't have to wet it. Okay, just a little moisture. Especially in LA, it's very dry. The paper is crispy. Just relax it. That's how much. And then the shiny side. Let me see. I think this, yeah, looks like, yeah. When you wet the painting, it was done in watercolor. So be very careful not to use too much water. You can skip this part if your area is very humid, because you can see the color comes off. Yeah. If you use Chinese color, like a Maurice color, it won't happen because they use different binding material. It's called the gelatin instead of gum arabica. So you want to use Chinese paint if you wet mount your painting to avoid.
Henry, some of my ink even come out when I mount it.
Yeah. Oh, with dry mounting?
Yeah, just like this. Maybe my ink is not good.
Yeah, just use less water. Maybe you spray on the on the other side of the paper should also work. just spray a little bit, let it dry a bit, before you do the iron, because if you have water drops like beads, it might create a bubble or something on this paper. So,
Henry, I've
yeah.
been trying to, I have the silicone backing paper, and the first one I had the iron too high and it warped, but even with it on a lower setting, it just gets some little waves in the paper. How do I get rid of that?
Okay, if you use my method, it should be no problem. You mount the backing paper first, then put this on. You won't have any wave. If you put this paper on the painting first,
Way.
yeah, that's a comma. I would not worry about it. Just peel it off and transfer it onto the permanent support with a harder, thicker paper. So that wrinkle is on this paper. On this paper, it doesn't matter as long as there's no wrinkle on the front side. Just ignore that. You peel it off, peel this paper off, and then transfer it.
No, I mean the painting itself.
I see what you mean. If you have wrinkles on the painting itself, spray some water and then iron it. Yeah, if you spread water first, you should avoid that. You should take care of that. If you didn't,
is the correct side for the mounting paper? How do you know which side to use?
For mounting paper you bought from Blue Heron Arts, the rough side.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So this is finished. For my backing, it's a little bit small. I can trim it off, I think. So yeah. If you put it behind the mat, it doesn't matter. You don't have to trim the extra. So this is finished. You can still roll it if the backing is not too thick. If it's this paper may be difficult. So I will just if you collect this, I will just send flat. Just the information. So any questions on mounting? No? Okay, let's continue to the next demo.
Henry,
Yes.
I have a suggestion for mounting that has worked for me.
Yes, please.
If I'm worried that my painting might bleed a little bit, what I do is I take a piece of blotter paper and I moisten the blotter paper and then just lay my painting on the blotter paper, so it just absorbs just the most subtle amount of
so
moisture.
You spray on this paper, on this top sheet.
Well, no, I use blotting paper, a blotter.
But that paper would be used as a dusting protecting sheet as well? Or just the blot?
No,
it blot like that, right?
I just used the blotter to moisten my painting before I mount it.
You massage it like that with a wet dampened paper like this, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's smart.
And it works.
Okay. Another thing you can do is, that inspired me. I can show them how to do. Maybe, let's say if we want to dampen this paper, we just use another. Maybe you can use just any paper like this. It's just a West painting or something. So I dampen this paper. Just wet it, right? Just kind of dampen it. So now it's kind of dampened, and then you put on this. Do you iron at this time? You don't use iron? No.
No.
Just let it kind of absorb for a minute, maybe.
Exactly. And then take it away and then do exactly what you just did.
Oh, I see what you mean. So this will relax the bottom painting. Yeah, it does. Maybe, yeah, okay. So assume this one is wet. So I'm not, now let me show you another method. We call it method A in our instruction sheet. Without using the permanent support, you can put this on the silicone paper itself as a, use the release paper as a backing, temporary at least. So you can still send it rolled. And then when they get it, they can either keep it or remove it and put it on a permanent support. That's
So what kind of paper do you use as blotting paper? Just the
just the Xuan paper.
Xuan paper.
Absorbent,
Size doesn't matter.
Oh, unsized, of course. Unsized because you can use a tissue or something like this.
Okay.
A paper towel. Paper towel. It's just like a paper towel.
Uh-huh.
I happen to have this piece in hand, so I just used it. Okay, now you can see the same idea, but without the permanent backing. So now the painting is a little bit okay. You see what this does, because the backing is kind of larger, so I have to kind of worry about that. Let me just put this paper on top. It doesn't matter if it's dry or wet. I think I just use the temperature. I try to prevent it from sticking on my iron because we have extra margin. That's most nuisance in this process. You just want to cut the backing smaller, slightly smaller or exact. If you have extra margin, you will have trouble. Like, here I cannot move it. Let me see. So, well, it's another hard lesson for you I'm glad I'm making mistakes. Usually I don't make this kind of mistake, but you can see if you got wet on the release paper, this is what happens. So if you see this kind of moisture on the back of the painting, it could happen here. It's because this is wet or moist, has steam or something on it. So you want to keep this area dry. It will get some moisture because it's not waterproof. So you need to wet or iron this area. So let me keep doing this. Because the dampened paper was used on top of this, so that gives the moisture and make it to kind of shrink. So the front should not be wet. It should be dry. This dust protection should be completely dry. Okay. Let me see.
Henry, if I use a high temperature, what will happen?
High temperature, just you have to work faster. Sometimes it's easier to just use the weight to kind of press it, and then you activate because sometimes the painting is not flattened yet. So basically, if you have time, if you work slowly, you have the chance to correct something like that. If you see, just to dry out the air first before you set it, because when you set the two, if there's air, you cannot move, right? So you want to kind of squeeze out the air, then set it. You understand? That's why I prefer to work slower. And you can use lower temperature in the beginning, and then you adjust it higher to shorten the time needed to reach the point with 180 Fahrenheit to set it. Yeah. So this is method A. method A is to mount back the original. So you can roll it like that still, yeah. It's not stiff, yeah. But you get the same effect, and you save a piece of backing paper. You can use that as a backing. I have done that in the past. I just put it in behind the mat. Nobody knows. And I don't think it will turn yellow or something. At least I have painting like over a decade already. See, this kind of bubble does not bother me. I don't really worry about that as long as it's invisible here. And when you transfer it, this because maybe it's not firm enough. You can iron to make it really flat, but it won't make much difference. When you transfer it, it won't not make because the whole sheet still hold together. That's all you need. And then you put on a permanent support like a Bristol paper. Do you want to see that? I can do that to finish if you want to.
Okay, I have another thing. If depending on what pigments you use and what kind of ink, you can use a crystal clear acrylic coating on the paper or a fixative by Grum.
Oh, yeah. You can fix the paint before you do this.
Yes.
Wet or dry, yeah. They use hair spray, that kind of thing, yeah. Right.
Hairspray, not really. I use the Grumbacher
Fixture,
fixative
yeah.
or this Krylon crystal clear.
Okay,
See,
that's professional grade.
that's
yeah.
it. Watercolors and not Chinese.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
never do that, so I never have the problem.
Maybe
and I've
you
been
can share
mounting
the
for 10 years.
Susan, maybe you can share that in the chat room with us, the fixture you used before you mount. That's very helpful. So you will fix the. Well, you know what? I can still paint on this. This one's like I haven't signed. So the Little Moon painting, my wife Victoria wrote the title. Little Moon is high on the painting after it's mounted, and you can also put a seal afterwards. So it will avoid the smear ink issue, like you mentioned. So
Okay,
here I'm curing off, and I will sign this. I can paint on this later, like a pine. After I did this, so you can combine Chinese and the Western approach. If you use watercolor with more textured paper, you can even get that kind of texture through. So it's kind of a fusion also to do this. I used to paint like very heavy text fibrous paper like a Mulberry No. 2. I paint on the wrong side with a sky wash and something to show like you can paint a separate tree or bruise tree, what do you call that? It will show the fiber, right? And then I mount it on the watercolor paper and I finish the buildings or other things. So this could be very helpful. You paint continuously after mounting, dry mounting. So this spray would not be applied if you want to continue to work on the piece. If your piece is finished, then you can do that. This one has the wrong side, and this actually I put it upside down, so it will stick on the film easier. So there's a shining waxy side. It should be facing down. I just made a mistake. But you can still remove it. You can see it come off, especially when it's still warm. It will come off. And because it's outside the painting, this is okay. Let me just iron it back. So see, that's the kind of dirt you want to avoid with this kind of because I touched the film, it becomes dark. Yeah, but that's outside the painting. So I can still work on this. So now it's perfect flat. Usually after you wash the sky, it will buckle, will become, you know, uneven. And so it's better to mount it and then you paint the pine needles, you know, as we will do later. We should still have enough time. We should be hurry. So I'll save this. So we can work on this one later. So we'll do the sky. We use sized paper. This is a Gombi technique. Size paper has two kinds. One comes with the sparkles, the mica. Let me turn this iron off, sorry. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is use transparent colors, red, yellow, and blue to do the sky. Yellow. If you have, you know, you can use some earthy colors like a yellow ochre in watercolor. Maris also have yellow ochre you can get from you know a tube from us if you like. Let me see. We got some left over. I'm going to use that too. So indigo for the light sky. We can also got cello. I think cello is kind of greenish. It's kind of you have to mute it. But it's very strong. Be careful with the cello blue. And for red, we can use carmine, or you can use rouge. Actually, for the night sky, carmine to get purple. That's the purpose to use carmine, I think.
So blue normally is mineral, right? Isn't it? So
No,
which one is not mineral?
The cello, and cello is a stain color. I think is indigo also. It's kind of grainy.
Cello, what's the Chinese name?
太清南 451 太清南
451.
Yeah, or indigo 495. That's the two, and I use this. You can also get rouge for dark part. Maybe I use rouge instead of carmine to get purple. But we don't need this much. I try to use 3 only. But since you can test, we can test different different ones, I think. So red, yellow, and blue. Let me for the moon part, you want to start with let me see what the brush I'm using should be I already used ink on this one. That's not good. So I'll just use basic or calligraphy brush. You can use maybe a combination brush. It takes more moisture. It's softer because stiff hair tends to break the layer on the size on this paper. If you use too stiff, you may create some problems like I did on this Shigata wing. It breaks the layer, so that spot gets dark because it shows through. See, this is what happens on the back. If you paint wet into wet too much, you got this kind of low fan, and you can make it up with more size. It's difficult to explain how that works. But just try to paint gently and wait it dry before each layer, so you won't have a torn spot. Not torn, really, low leaking spot. Okay, let me start with yellow. We do the colors one by one. We don't mix them on the palette. you can, because I got some red here, maybe you can mute it a little bit, maybe with a little red and the blue, but we do that later. I think I just use very thin yellow, very thin, maybe 2%. The target is, when it's dry, you may not, but I want to show you, so I try to use more intense one. So I'm going to pick a spot to do the moon. It's about here off the center on the, on this painting, it's kind of larger than the landscape. We consider this flower and birds painting kind of, it has a background. So we're going to draw this. You don't have to paint exactly, like round. If you like, you can use a penny to draw a circle. Can you do a circle without that? The point is, you don't have to do the circle at this point. Okay, we just do the area. You can just paint the whole area yellow for that open. I call it the eye of the sky. On this paper, you will realize that it doesn't really do well with the accumulate. If you use a lot of water, if it has a pool of water, it's not very easy to work. It takes a long time to dry. So we try not to have excessive water, but just enough. No dry brush, just wet brush, but without pool of water. Okay, now I'm going to clean the brush. You can clean just squeeze out some yellow, and you don't have to clean too much. Just let me use a little carmine here. Should I zoom in a little bit so you can see better? Okay, now I paint along the outside of this. You can overlap them. I think it will make orange. That's okay. I think that's probably, it's a hollow, kind of hollow, right? The moon does not beam like sunshine, so it's very soft, kind of. You don't have to paint those radiate light, something like that. And you just do a circle like an anzo, practice your anzo, Japanese Zen circle. This is very light, by the way, very, very light. When it's dry, it's almost white, just maybe 1%, I would say. Very light. Okay, you can, because it will turn lighter as watercolor does. And next, I'm going to do the blue. So let's use a cello. Cello is kind of strong, but it's less grainy, I think. Or, yeah, I think it's more transparent, maybe a little. This is cello, and let's see what's the difference between this and the indigo. Indigo is a little greenish, so it may be good on the trees. It has yellow in it, right? The cello may be more fresh. I like. It's a granny color. So use a lot of water, and you see the blue around the moon. That's added afterwards. It will shine through. So at this point, we just do the yeah, just paint all the sky in blue. You can use a larger brush. Let me just use a large brush. You can use a hacky brush, or we have this triple brush. Okay, here. Let me use this. These new brushes are designed for this kind of background, and you can use either one. Let me just use this You can use a large soft brush. It takes a lot of moisture, so you can do the whole thing in one load, I hope. And maybe I start from the outside this time. I just take a shot like that. So let's go maybe from here.
Henry, do I need to wait to dry? Or
No. This has to be you have to do this so they blend into each other. And try to eliminate this kind of hard edge. And you can use so that's why I start. It doesn't matter if you have some hard edge, that's fine, because the cloud will just adjust that. I think basically just make it. It's very important to paint with a combination of layers, not to finish. You can have some holes, bricks, in between. Don't have to paint 100% each layer. So you can have some darks, some light. But this is a flat wash. In general, a graded wash, graded flat wash, gradation. Maybe what they call transitional gradation, that kind of wash. And then we'll do the separate wash. That's a Gongbi painting term, means to create a shadow, gradation shadow. This is flat, just to cover the whole thing. And you can have some white paper, but I think the white may be too strong, so just cover everything. Just no white. The shine, the brightest, lightest will be the moon. Okay.
Henry, sometimes when I'm painting on this Gombi paper, that I get tiny bubbles that come up on it. Do you ever?
Because you paint too much. Try to use a larger brush and then do it in one stroke.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And very gently. Don't press. Don't just use plenty of. You don't use dry brush basically. No dry brush. If you keep dry brushing on the wet, that will happen. So now I'm going to. Let me see. I think it's okay to, as long as there's no shiny surface on the paper, it's still damp. I'm going to work on the moon right away. So I will cover, because there's no pink in the painting, right? So I'm going to squeeze out the moon right now. By the way, if you have this product, this. Someone has the transparent white, or you can use alum solution, solution of alum. It has to be very thick. This is a transparent white, and you can use as a resist to block the moon. So especially on absorbent paper, you don't need to do this actually on this paper because it's not bleeding. You can control the bleed. If you want, you can, let me show you on other paper. If this is a unsized paper, after this dry, I can kind of preserve the moon, or you can preserve it before you do anything to make it water resist the moon area with this. Okay, because
Henry, if you put that on the moon, can you still paint on that?
You can still paint it. Yeah, you can still paint on it. That's what I got. But you have to use very thick paints. It's not absorbent, so you can still see some color there. I did that here. See that hard edge. If you don't like the hard edge, you don't have to use this technique. Let's just do it in the primitive way. There's no trick to play with that. So I carefully draw this moon. You can draw a little larger than you like, but try to do it in one stroke, like what you would do with the Anzo of a Zen, Japanese Zen calligraphy. Okay.
Now, is that just using the blue?
Yeah, the same blue. See, if the blue overlaps with previous layer, it will create this darker. Even the same blue, if you do twice, it will be darker, right? So, yeah, you should do it wet when it's still damp, I think. And it turns green. Well, that's not what I want. That's why I put the red between the blue and the yellow. If you paint on yellow, it will make it green. We can adjust that later with more blue. But you know, just it might be nice with some green. The basic idea is you know, just to paint separate colors and layer them. It will create the nice effect automatically. So I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll work on the second layer with the cumulants, cirrocumulants. Let me see how you spell it. Clouds. Where's the chat room? I got 9 chat. Thank you for the information. Oh, fixture. Okay. Cunimbulus, Cirrocumulus, yeah. Okay. We can use a iron, because I have the iron ready here. It's still got some temperature. Put it back. And I need the release paper. You can use a blotting paper, but it will take the paint away, I think.
So Henry, you paint blue around the moon to make it stand out. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I will do that. So the first layer is just the white. Everything will be white. It feels white later because it's in night. There's no pure white. But you want to use very subtle contrast, not very strong like the daytime, you know. Uh-oh.
Henry, we lost you. We lost the.
Oh, I see what
European.
happens. Sorry, because this camera has some issues there. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I got silicone on that paper, so be careful with the silicone. Anyway, silicone could be a mess. So this is still a little damp, but that's okay. So I'm going to use a soft brush. I think I just use this rabbit hair maybe, or you know, that's a combination brush. You can use maybe this one. I try to pick the right size. I realized that if you use large brush, you tend to paint the cloud too big, so it will not appear so high in the sky. These clouds are high clouds, like 4,000 to 5,000 high. So they look very far. this is basic soft brush I'm using. So I'll get a gray by mixing all these colors, maybe. Okay, it's kind of green. I try to get a gray, warmer to start with, like a purple. This time I try to get right color in the pool, so I don't have to blend all the time. But you can still use the impressionistic approach. You can make colors blend on the. I don't have to blend, just put them side by side, the cool and the warm, something like that. But you can use a little ink to mute the color. It's very easy to do. Also, you can also use the ink. Just the ink with indigo. I think that's probably it. But on the painting on the corner, there's some blue and there's a warm gray. So if we want to do the painting, by the way, this painting was in. Let me get a larger copy here. Metropolitan Museum. They don't have this in current show any, I think. And on the website, the Met Museum.org, they don't allow you to download the large version because the right limitations, I think. So we only have a small copy. Anyway, let me open this one. But that's good. So we can use our imagination to fill in. Okay, I'm going to start with this cloud shape, and you can use a blue, purple kind of warm gray or something. Another thing you can do is instead of using white, you can use opaque. Some opaque colors. Here is opaque blue 493 as as white, so you can make it opaque. But don't use too much; it will turn chalky. So you want to keep the saturation. It's actually very chalky there. So just slightly light, darker than this. So I'm going to do the the edge. I work on the inside of the hole, but aimed at I'm looking at the original. So it's kind of irregular shape, like octopus or something. Try to think it as an animal, like a dragon eye or something. The whole movement, the movement of the card. Okay, it's like a dragon in the sky. So I'm going to use a little more blue close to the moon. Find the top. Now I have to be kind of careful with the size of the moon. It's getting smaller and smaller. I cannot add to it, remember? So try to. As long as you feel it's rounded, that's okay. Not necessarily to be perfect. You can have. See, it starts to get fuzzy. Stop at that point. If you keep going, you will make it. You will destroy that layer. It will become darker and darker. Just to destroy the layer. So it will turn lighter, I hope. Let me get some water, sorry. Okay, continue. I have never used this brush for this purpose before. Let me see if it works. Yeah, it could work, I think. Let me just use this one. If you use regular brush, try to hide the tip in the middle of the stroke. It just like, let me show you. So the next time I'm going to draw this holes in the clouds. They might be some darks we can add later. I think basically still the kind of grayish blue. So just negative paint the shape of the clouds. And getting darker and darker, you can add a little more blue and even a little ink there. So this cloud has a pattern, and notice the perspective is getting. Let me just finish this corner so you'll see what I mean by perspective. It's the distance between each wave is getting larger. The gap between each layer is getting so it's very dense here, right? But you can go from the circle, so from the center out, and getting also more and more towards cool, I think. But I try to get a diagonal kind of gradation also, not just horizontal, vertical, diagonal. It's the idea. And you can use two brushes to start, soften the edge before it gets dry. You can use a clean water brush, just like a separate wash. We call this separate wash. So you draw a kind of shape, and then you can blend it a little bit like that. And you need to keep in mind the source of the direction of the light is from the moon, right? The reflective light from the moon. So the shadow part is outside, on the outside of the clouds, right? So the hard edge, I think, although you have to analyze this formula and then apply that to the painting. So you don't have to copy exactly. You can create your own pattern and light with the light. And try to vary a little bit the temperature. Some parts is getting cooler from this kind of yellow, purple, and then blue. I'm speaking of very subtle changes. And in the beginning, you might just combine just like this, and then we'll separate it. Just so it's a separate wash, then flat wash. For the next, you can grade it here even a little bit. And then you can come in to add darker ones, just to create the transition perspective, aerial, what do you call atmospheric perspective, or whatever, the perspective. So this kind of rounded edge is using a clean brush, relatively dry, like a sponge, to pour the color towards the light, then leave some white, not white, just the negative shape between the two, so you get this kind of effect. And then later we can do a unified wash, a flat wash on top of this to if the contrast is too too big, we can still soften it with a unified wash. Just like Gombi painting, you always alternate between the two. So you can work on a bigger shape first, and then you can divide it into smaller shapes. Some dry brush is okay, but basically it's a not split brush. I think you can just keep it damp, not too dry. I think you cannot achieve the effect at one step, so you want to come back to do several layers. So I'm going to work a little faster now because it's going to be behind the trees, so I don't really have to, but I still have to consider the perspectives, so the size of the shape is my concern, to create the illusion of a high cloud. It's like the opposite of what you really see in the sky. If you usually when we see this kind of moon in the sky, it's right above us, So the clouds on top is larger, and then you're getting smaller and smaller near the horizon, right? But in this painting, in landscaping, in his painting, you'll see the opposite. The clouds getting larger and larger towards the horizon. That gives us a delusion, like you're looking like a tunnel perspective, a hole, like a light hole, a channel. What do you call that? Tunnel. So it's getting smaller and smaller. It could be a smaller moon. I want to show you on this. I think it's probably right. This size. Okay. And there's some light. I don't know if it's city lights or something on this corner. So this is how I use my brush. Kind of, you see this kind of stroke, like we practiced before. You do the tree trunk on pine. Like you change directions. Some half circles, anti-cross or crosswise turns. So, and then you kind of soften that and concentrate on the space between the two. And you can wet the area with a damp brush, and then add. I use a little bit ink to mute it. Just yeah, the point is, if you like use a lot of ink, some of you, if you're familiar with watercolor, you want to keep the beading, right? The beading. It won't work on this paper. So we have the different approach to do it. We use this two brush technique. So we take out the bead with clean brush to generate the soft edge. Yeah, that's very common technique. We call it separate wash. Separate means two brush. two brush, one with color and another without color with clean. Oops, I got some red. It's good to have some red in addition to the yellow and the blue somewhere. Excellent, happy accident. And just clean brush to blend it, blending, yeah. You might call this blending technique, just kind of gradation. Gradation, the function is gradation versus the flat wash, which unifies, we call that unified wash. Separate means to create a difference. Unified means to eliminate, to minimize, to minimize, how do you say that? Reduce the contrast. Okay. That's a clean brush. I need to clean, and this is the. So you can work wet into wet if you want to keep it soft, or you can set it with the. Just wait, dry, and then you can come back. So I'm going to just kind of add a little bit color to make the marginal area without too much definition or shape. We just want a gray background. It will serve as a background for the trees. So I just want to have a gradation. See, if I work too much, wet into wet, it will start to fuzzy. Just to stop. Just don't try to make it, don't try to sweep this, it will make it worse. When you see that, just stop. If it's in the area with trees, it doesn't matter. When this happens here, you just have to live with that. If you look at the detail of my little moon painting, you'll see a lot of this fuzzy texture. But if you look from distance behind the glass, it's no problem. But we want to avoid this if you want to keep it fresh and natural. So the sky should not be too much texture, just more like a cotton, like a wave, like water. So you can use wet brush and then paint slowly, like that. I think I use too much dry brush because I tend to paint quicker. So you can go slower. Just dab. Just don't scratch. Just kind of dab. Oh, by the way, his son, Tao Lengyue, he has 7 or 8 children. I forgot. One of his sons tried to learn painting from him because he's teaching other kids, other friends, family kids. He wants to learn himself from his father, and his father made a rule with his son saying, you have to copy each sample painting 10 times at least to show me before next demo. If you don't do this, I will not teach you continuously. I will not do this, the second one, I will stop. And so his son agreed. He lived in a boarding school. So every week, every month, he come back with the 10 pieces. So his father would teach him. He also learned from other masters and also Western painting as well. And his style is almost the same as his father, even better, I think, because he used more like watercolor strokes. his father is a little more traditional. His calligraphy is, and his chi is better. I mean, the movement. But his son is more like a Daoism, or like I see a lot of. Let me show you an example. Maybe I can find here. I got some. See, that's his son's palette. Phthalo, indigo, maybe some green stuff there. Okay, very muddy, huh? That's his son's work. It's similar to what we do, right? You got the idea? It's very watercolor-ish, right? Are you familiar with this kind of thing? Watercolor, but it's on the same paper we're working on this sized paper. I don't think he did the transparent wash. Maybe on the camera it's not showing, but you can glaze the yellow, the purple after the blues, I think. And that's another shot. I took the screenshot. It's not still picture, so you can see the captions of his. That's his whole painting. That's a zoom in, from the this complete composition is like this. So I talked about perspective. You see what I mean? So the cloud shape getting larger and larger away from the moon, to give you illusion of the moon is far away. That's how it works, right? And you can see some other examples here. Oh, that's his son's work. And you can see just the block, just the shapes, right? Not much calligraphy, just dab the brush and try to combine different tonality or values. I think value is most important in any painting, especially Western painting. That's his father's landscape trees in detail. I tried to see how he colored it. It's very traditional. He did the ink first and then color. So the value comes first. See the water, it's the same as the sky, right? On the currents in the stream, in this river. So he just saved the white, and then with the pale wash, I think that's reflection. Yeah, that's the same thing. You just did different shape, the space between. That's his landscape. Yeah, sometimes he kind of abstract, make some very nice patterns, design patterns. Oh, I like this one a lot. You can see it's very watercolorish. A snow scenery. It's just pattern of different size of sky holes. So it's a difficult question to answer whether this white is the cloud, whether these grays are the clouds or the sky. It's translucent. It's the overall effect. It's really, I think, theoretically, the blue around the moon is the sky, but there might be some mist, clouds in the front. And some shapes are the clouds, the shadow, yeah. So the rain, the light rain combines, become this pattern. That's what it is, okay? If you try to define them, but don't worry about what it is. Get the pattern is very more important. This is my little moon painting, and you can see I painted too much layers. It's getting a lot of fuzzy, but in the painting, believe me, it's not so bad. Not as rough as this picture. So just stop before you turn it. As long as there's no hole in this, if you look at from distance, it all blend together, right? I use the watercolor only, no ink, and I use the gouache. I was looking at some paintings by British master JMW Turner. Do you know him? I think many of me must know.
Yes, I recognize Turner's style in that painting. I was very excited to see that.
Thank
Yes.
you. I'm so happy. Yeah. His sketchbook. His sketchbook. Yeah. Look at his sketchbook. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so the pattern, right? We talked about you can make small details, even more. But I think just for the demo purpose, I'm quite happy with this. And there are some. Let me see. Where's the original? Yeah, you can see some clouds in front of the moon. That's nice. I want to do that. Let me see if we have that in our Metropolitan. Okay. Where's it? Sorry, it's kind of hard to find. But it's good to go through this anyway. Oh, here we go. You see that little veil kind of, that's, okay. That's probably the last. I would add a little orange just to add a little substance on the moon, and a little roundness, maybe. A little gray, just to shade. The moon has this kind of texture also. The landscape on the moon. So you can have some red, some blue. Some blue will be the clouds. So you can just wet it and then just drop a little something. But don't overdo this. I think it's easy to make it dirty look. So I just basically wet it so I can draw the clouds like using a little purplish gray. I think should be a little opaque. So I just add mineral as white to this, and I got some cover. Especially when you have the resist here, you want to use the opaque, thick color to cover it. Okay, and it goes from. You can create another layer, maybe something behind. I just try to see if I can make. I think it's a very common, I won't say a mistake, tendency to be afraid like I did here. The clouds is too far from, like the clouds just void the moon. But no, because the cloud is the same as everywhere. Because the moon shining through, so it lit up the clouds. So you need to make sure that's there's no no one just stir the clouds away from the moon, right? So there's some clouds behind maybe the moons in or just sky holes. So the moon could look like in between some clouds. I don't know. Just I see some dry brush there. Just a little bit dry brushing. Let's see if that works. but you want to keep it subtle. Now I'm going to do a crossing kind of like that, and just blur a little bit. Now I wish it's a absorbent paper. It's much easier to create. Oh, remember we need to use a clean brush to do that, to soften the edge. Maybe just the top part, not both sides. And then we can add a little red, just turn, oops, turn that a little. I see a little purple on this. Okay, and a little more purple. So every time when I add something, I don't use the same color, same temperature, or same dryness or wetness. I try to vary them, so it will create more illusion of detail. So, you know, as you vary the element. You don't have to copy exactly my or the. It's more important to feel the qi, the movement of the clouds. Okay, that's what makes different than watercolor. The Chinese painting, although they in this case we do the light, but we're more sensitive to the energy, the movement of qi, energy. Okay, now you see this is too flat. I'm going to define some shapes to make it to bring the gradation back, the definition of just create some clouds, and it will fade into voids again. So just another layer. You can make some flat, and then you separate again. So gradually you will get darker and then dark. Actually, the darkest should not be near the edge. It's called tangent, right? So you want to keep the dark maybe a little in here instead of right on the edge. So it's kind of blur, fog out on the edge. You can use just the light again, so the dark is in this area. And I see some blue sky. You know, you do see blue sky in this kind of picture, right? Susan, Mary, did you take the picture the other day? I saw you on Facebook. Or earlier, because I took a picture myself about a week around the New Year's Eve. I see blue sky shining through, you know, with the moon. So
there was no clouds though that night, but it was like a pink night, amazing. That was at the lake.
Oh, I see. I see. I tend to do too dark. I try to avoid too dark holes like this area. I hope it will get lighter. That's probably too dark. But that's a concentration. I just try to, you know. So that's concentration. Then disperse from there. You need to keep it and make it a pattern. And then here, another pattern area. So you got a little darker here. And the poem on the side says, after rain, the moon come out in the night. The newly stopped rain. Yeah. The moon come out after rain in the night, and the clean light clear night, light shining in the sky, shining for 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles, yeah. Maybe high or distant, doesn't say. So it doesn't matter. It just means vast, just because we only paint a part of that, but the poem can make the viewer to think about 1,000 miles of shininess, moonlight. The artist try to paint. Okay, so it's getting lighter and then lighter, even in the reality it's darker, so this area is the darkest dark and then light. Anyway, I'm getting muddy colors. I would do another, maybe while we wait this to dry, we can start painting the trees on the other one. I just mounted, just show you how that works. I see some warm color in this area. Okay, try to break that roundness, maybe too round. Anyway, so if I have a flattened piece, it's maybe easier. This is actually an early practice, not very not perfect, but I did with a little transparent white, and I did apply gouache also. I forgot if it is. You can also use gouache as a resist, so you can use that before anything else on the back of the paper or in the front. You can blend it with a little yellow, so that will create as the resist, but you can still paint on it. You will cover it. The resist is the resist does not work on this kind of paper. It works best on the absorbent paper. Yeah. So if you use resist, you better use semi or unsized paper. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use a stiff brush. I just draw this tree branches. It looks like on the other side. I have to flip this. Let me see if I can flip this digitally. Rotate. Huh? Oh, this is rotation. I can't do that. Huh? I have to use Photoshop. Anyway, I just use my mind. I kind of flip it. Victoria can use both hands doing the same thing, kind of mirrored. So that may help. So let me try this. So I just use this. My right hand copy left hand. So that I just concentrate on the. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, actually, that's the way. This paper does not smear, so that's good, right? And that's calligraphy. You cannot really edit it. Once you do it, try to keep it. And you can add another stroke. Not repeat, but combine with the previous one if you want to adjust. Okay, let me see. That's the one. So they have a uniform tendency. The needles kind of follow the let me show you on, maybe I can just reverse it so you can see what's in my mind. Photoshop. Photos, okay. I don't have Photoshop here. I'm not on this computer. I think that's weird. Creating cloud. That's weird. Where's my Photoshop? Oh, here, right on my starter bar. Okay, got it. Okay, I flip this. Okay, isn't this one? Just put number. There we go. Okay, now do you see it? To turn that off. Okay, now it's flipped, right? So you don't have to copy mine. You can use the original one. Now you can actually I can see my zoom is flipped back. That is weird. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to draw this pine needles. Try to do it in a group. You don't do it like 3 or 5 group, and then I usually do it from outside in. You can also do it inside out, but look for the pattern of like I see a group of 3 here maybe, and they're overlapping. And so look for the structure, not just paint like we call that duster, right? Feather duster. That's kind of like a feather. It's not good. So you need to indicate the pine needle texture is very, very sharp, right? Like a needle, yeah. So you want to.
I'm sorry. Why you paint on the back?
On the back? Oh, this is on the front.
It's on the front.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I using another painting. I just mounted. Remember? Okay. Should I use the same painting because it's
okay,
still
it's okay.
wet. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
still
curious
wet.
why. It's okay.
This one I did. It's still wet. See the shininess. I need to wait it dry. I'll do that when it's dry.
That's okay. I just want to understand, is that any special reason for that?
Oh, because it's on the it's a different paper. I didn't really copy this painting, but now I decide to use this, so you can see you can still paint after mounting. So this is mounted on Bristol pad, all right?
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, you can see the needle could have some green in it. You can use it as a lightener. Instead of using water, you can use opaque green or opaque blue as a white. But don't use too much. If you use too much, it might turn chalky. So then you add, if that happens, you add a little green to it. Just add some saturation back to it, so it will be not so chalky. Chalky means like a white kind of gray. Actually, I want some chalkiness. It's like this shining part of that. I see. So the shadow part is kind of dark, and then there's some shining in the back. I think here we have some light, and then I'll add some blue to it later. I mean green, yeah, if you want the local color. This is what we call in Western painting, they call the diffuse light. So not too sharp with like a cast shadow. When I say shadow, it's really just the shadow. We do have shadow. It's but not really like a daytime cast shadow kind of cast. Yeah, no cast shadow. It's diffuse. Diffuse light under this kind of diffuse light, you see more the local colors and stronger, more saturated. Yeah, so they're not affected by they still have directions.
So the needle is green, blue, and ink.
This mineral green and or mineral blue. You can add a little. I added some yellow and that as well. So just see the color on the original. Try to get that with some ink and the color, together, so you don't have to add it. You can also add it. The one I just mounted earlier, right? The piece. Where's that piece? This piece I did the ink owning, and then I glazed it over with some opaque. And you can see that it's on top of the ink stroke. So there are 2 layers. Okay, I tried to do it in one step, but you can do it in separate steps. I'm sure he did it like 5 maybe. It's so dense. I don't like the denseness myself. I just want to create this veil kind of, because the song in Chinese is kind of loose. It's the same word for loose, right? And the translucent, so it can see through. Anyway, that's my mental representation. I just let you know. It's maybe not realistic or true, but it's the what's what the mind image you have will guide you what color to use, what effect. So you have to kind of imagine the effect before you doing it. You have to develop this mental image. According to this, just look at this thing, you'll get a response, a sensation, right? Sensation, a feeling. So that feeling will lead you to what kind of stroke, what kind of color to get that. So if you don't have the mental image, you just learn the technique, you will never get it. So try to develop the whole effect in your mind, the feel. Maybe not so concrete, but you want to achieve this kind of very subtle, kind of weird, kind of translucent. So that way you won't paint too heavy-handed to make it solid, right? So it could be dry brush, it could be light, could be very similar to the color behind, but a little darker. Doesn't matter. But mostly you don't want to paint the needles in like a Western painting, just the block, just the shape. You want to have this done one by one, and the Western painter will never do this. I don't know, for some reason they just don't like to do this. I cannot explain. Maybe in the past you will see this kind of painting, right? Anybody know the Western painting do pine needles like this? So I would do this one by one just to keep this. I think that's the most typical Chinese approach to pine trees, right? We do this even on black charcoal board when we do decorations, you know, like Christmas in our time. We do that in some festivals, like the Memorial Day kind of. We will paint pines like this needle pines patterned. So with any media, you can do this, I think. Okay, now this group is like a big squirrel tail kind of. Yeah, you can do squirrel tail one by one, right? One by one, here. But you can also just simplify it. See how I just paint the whole shape with loose strokes. And yeah, I can stop at any point. If I don't have time, I just leave it. And if I have time, I can just keep doing this for an hour. It will still not be nice. As long as you have a focal point in like a, then if you have this part very dense, you have to make this part denser. So this is the idea. You have to create a concentration and disperse. 疏密, dense and sparse in Chinese. Yeah. Okay, now this part is in front of, let me get a stand. So we only have a few minutes left. Huh? Let me finish this soon. And you can always do all the stems, but
Henry, sorry, what color are you using for the pine needles?
black plus some green, mineral green, mineral blue.
All right.
Okay. Okay, let me just keep doing this. And you can use some ink just to get it faster. Ink is easier to get. Okay, I just use this ink, refrigerated ink cake. Yes, so it's, and then with mineral green, and because this will turn kind of dirty, chalky, and I add back some saturation by mix of yellow and phthalo. Or you can use indigo. With ink, it doesn't really make much difference. So let me just do this here. And you can make the brush kind of flat and use the side of that chisel to do this. But you have to use your arm, you know, maybe because when you draw this long line, use your wrist above the table. You cannot just use your fingers to do this. I feel this kind of soft, like almost like a feather, but like a what do you call this, peacock feather, same kind of stroke. We have a class on peacock. Right? If you do this well, you can do peacock tails of feather very easily. And try to create this parallel, but with some concentrate on the bottom. I think you can overlap. To correct the stroke, you not all the strokes parallel, so you can create some crisscrossing like that. Some dance in the near the bottom, near the branch, right? And some shorter needles near the bottom, and but they are very sharp, so you can stop at the tip sometimes. Just pull the brush back quickly, but do make a stop there, so you don't just paint like a lazy strokes. You like a calligraphy, you kind of, yeah, you need to stop in the end also. At the end and stop at the end. So you got the heavier. It's a little thicker too at the end. So let me get some more color here. I make the brush flat, see if it works better. Actually, this is not traditional. So just use the tip rounded. It's, for me, I think you can twist the brush to get it pointed constantly. You can twist the brush so they always straight. You can use your middle finger to twist the brush between strokes. So change the side. That helps to keep the brush tip, to rotate the side with each stroke. Yeah, the idea, complete without, with absence of stroke, sometimes create this loose groove. This is more solid. This is a little loose behind, kind of behind this this one, right? So this one is in the front. This one is behind. And still, there's some dance and the spurs, and just go faster. And once you get loose, it's just automatic. You do it like a muscle memory. Your hand knows it. You can also go the other way, go out. So I do both directions. Sometimes, and you can hatching like almost like a sketching. That's all work, as long as you don't repeat. Don't do it like a little by little. So you have to one stroke for each needle, and try to create the negative space. But in this painting, maybe we just leave it like very loosely, and just create some branch here. See if we can do it without consolidate the shape. Just make it like a feather, translucent. When I try to copy at this point, in the beginning, I didn't really think about copying. Now I think I try to copy, then you have to copy everything. So just keep an eye on your own. So because my branch is different than his, I cannot really copy every stroke. I have to feel the movement of the chi of my own. I do like that kind of hanging. So it goes like that, goes down here. That goes up there, and then turns left, and then go down. That's like that. And create some really dense area. You can add dark darkest dark in this area. And you can, let me see, you can make the branch a little thicker if you want. And then add some green to it. I think there's no brown in the night, maybe just green. Keep it uniform, make it easy. You can leave some highlight. I don't know, you could be better with the Western idea, you know, where the shadow is. So the left side is light, so the right side is shadow. I don't know. You don't have to worry too much. Okay, so I'm going to use just the colors to finish. We have already over time. Sorry, just sign it maybe. And just show you, you can use basically color like a green color with you can mix all the transparent and the transparent colors, yellow, indigo, and the green or blue, just like that. And then add this mineral color. Actually, it's not pure from the tube. It's a mixture of several colors, I think. And here we already have that. So just add some color, saturated color. You don't have to repeat the ink strokes. Just overlap them would be fine. I think I try to avoid the shortcut, like you start washing. You should apply the color the same way you draw, okay? There's no wash on this tree. The wash is behind. That way it's easy to see through. If you use a wash, you will block the view, you know, behind the background. That would be different. I do think he washed it. He did wash, so there will be graded wash from the center out, from the center of the brow out to the edge, the feathery edge, to make the blocking. He wants the you know, some part is blocked to create the illusion of what's in the front, what's in the back, right? So that's also okay. But it will take a longer time to do that if you do the wash. I just, how does it look okay, believable? And you can do another layer just behind, you know, like here, I have the color just without the ink. So you can overlap, just like we do bamboo. We have light group and the dark group overlapping. Light is behind, right? Dark is in the front. So this is same ideas. Bamboo painting is almost like a shadow on the. It was inspired by the shadow on the window paper. That's how it's originated. So it's basically a moonlit painting. So the solar weight, yeah, solar weight painting. And but you can have soft ones, soft solar weight, and the dark in the back. Yeah, dark in the front in solar weight painting, light behind, or diffuse light. I don't know how to explain it, but light is usually behind. Yeah, and you can just use dry wash instead of wet wash. You can just use a dry brush to make the center a little solid. And just feather out from the center, right? But don't do this too much. You may destroy the feel of this calligraphy. Okay, just make it harmonize as long as you. I feel the coldness is almost like yeah, the winter. So I'm going to write here the inscription to finish. The two lines reads. I have to use the correct one. 夜来星际月，倾吐万里灰. Chinese poem. I don't know who wrote this. Maybe his original. I checked. I didn't find reference. Usually it's a song or town poem. Let me just write. Okay. So this is a landscape after rain, the moonlight after raining. I see the other day we had a rain in the storm in the daytime, and after sunset, the clouds rising from this kind of mottled sky, and then the moon shining through. That's very common here in LA. After yeah. Oops, yeah. There. Night comes. 星 newly. 星 Ji means clear. Ji. Maybe Victoria can spell that. We'll put in the classroom. 星来夜来星际月 means moon. Ji means rain stuff. Moon come out in the night. 倾吐万里灰. It's a couplet, you know, couplet. Same word, same kind of structure, grammar. 倾吐. 倾 means clear. 吐 means how to say this? Produce. One. I can use a grass style. 李辉. This is my name actually. Okay. 倾吐 1,000 miles shininess or light. Shining light. Okay. And I always have to say tribute to Tao Lengyue, Professor Lengyue, Codeman. 致敬 Tao then code. Okay, and then this year it's the ox year, but we still say the end of rat year. But I don't like that, so I just use the common era. So 2021. 2021, yeah. I'll just write here 20 so make this 2 very long, otherwise it will become 3. You know, this is 2, right? 200 0 21. So if you if you make this too short, it will make it like a 3. So this is 2, 1. And the year 2021. January. Oh, you don't have to write the date, the month is enough. First month is 元月. Okay, and looks like I have to write on the top of the tree, so I just put it here. And my name is same character like this, but I vary a little bit. You can add the word painted or wrote or something like that. Just leave it like that. And then the seal. Seal add another warm spot, hot spot. So it's very important to break the coldness of this color theme. Balance it. Okay, so under it, usually the seal is the same size as the inscription. It could be larger. This is my last name, Li. So Xiaohui, my first name, Li. That's how you sign it. That's the demo for this. I wish I had time to finish this one, but this one just to show you the process of doing this moon. And so I hope this will do it, right? Combined.
Henry, I think the original, they colored the pine a little bit.
Yeah, I just mentioned that you can do that. It's more solid, more opaque. Yeah, I try to keep it loose. You can still add to it. You know, you just wash the. You can add color. Let me show you how to do that. You can just add from the center out, maybe just like that. Just brush, just flat, using a large brush, just brush it on like that. Do you like the original better? Any comments? Should I stop?
Oh, I love what you did with that one, Henry. The moon is so brilliantly lighting up the clouds, and
maybe I just make the shadow area, like this bottom area, more dimmed, right? So you can even use some ink there. So just make it darker, so that will frame the moon even more dramatically.
right.
Does that have mineral color in it? What you're doing?
No, I just use whatever here. Yeah, it has a mineral color.
It looks opaque.
Yeah, I try to darken this area so it will stage it.
Right.
It will stage it.
Yeah.
I like that it's not so sharp. It's sort of muting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use the opaque color to mute to add the ink, to lighten the ink. So you will have the body, then you just dilute it with water. I have that in the beginning like this, with more, just the water. And now I use, you can think of the opaque green or blue as a white. As a, you cannot use pure white here, so you use opaque as a that. So basically, I think we use this wash, this kind of dry wash. We may call it rubbing. Remember the term? I try to use. It's like a scratching, applied, with a scramble, yeah, like this. So you got lots of texture in that. So that's
I think that's better.
it's better now.
I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know. Ask others what they think.
Okay, just stop me before it's too much.
I think it's good.
It's good. Okay. Yeah, you can have some kind of horizon because this is on the ground. You can have some horizontal there, something just or maybe too much. I think just blur it. So I just blur it.
Henry,
Yes.
he used a mood seal, I think, on his. What does his mood seal say? Down in the lower right hand?
Oh, that one. I cannot read it. Maybe, yeah, because this image is limited right. So maybe I cannot read at all.
There's one.
I can read it. I read it. Yeah, I think it's a 清风朗月. 清风朗月. It's a Chinese idiom. It's the same like this poem. 清风 means a clean wind, a gentle breeze. 朗月 means a clear moon. Gentle breeze, clear moon. 清风朗月.
Sorry, can I ask you about the circular painting? There's no chop on it. Is that conventional with the circular paintings?
Oh, I see. We didn't do it because it's a Western painting style.
Yes.
Fraternal style. So I try to keep the Western feel, but we do like to write the title of it on the painting. So it's just the minimum approach, because if you write more, it will become Chinese painting. Our daughter is more like she took art in the arts in her college in art school, so she does basically Western watercolor. So maybe yeah, we could finish that. Besides, there's not much space, Yeah, it is kind of difficult to place a seal, and it has to be considered as part of the composition. And we placed the inscription very high to compete with the moon. We said that because the meaning is a high little moon, a little moon high. It's a very popular song in Thailand. It became a theme. A theme, yeah, for just like that, yeah. So one of our friends says the words is competing, with the height of the moon, the high moon. So yeah, we try to make you feel. If you use the seal, it should be more close to the steel yard, right? The horizon. Yeah, so this is abnormal in composition, but we do like that kind of diagonal balance. So it balances with the sailing boat, and also enhance that dark part of the clouds. It adds essence of ink in it. So it's really, yeah, just an uncommon situation, a very personalized painting. We know that, yeah, we try to please the people, the person who receive it instead of follow the conventional. We try to make a simple statement. It's just the name of the recipient. So goal is a wish. Yeah.
In the circular paintings, is this placement of horizon, is this a very Western style?
No. It's the same. Horizon is always the same horizon. The style is I didn't do I think even the dark is a mixture of yellow, blue, green. I think maybe a little bit ink. It's only here, so you can see the process she inscribed it. It has a little gradation. I like it. Yeah, it's a high clerical style she's teaching. She's practicing recently. And very decorative. You can write this on your painting if you like. This is a general, like I said, a song or theme, a poetic theme. Means Yuer is a nickname for the moon, just like little moon, yeah. R is a children, baby, yeah, the word for baby, because the moon appear very small, like here. High is like high, the highest, like sky is high, right? High, high moon, and high is also a praise for achievement. So when you paint bamboo symbolizes 节节高 because you go up and up straight. It's a good wish for promotion. So it's a good motion. Yeah, gao is usually on the New Year's Day. This is very custom folklore that people will go hiking on mountains, climbing the mountain. It's called a 年高. 年高. So you climb a mountain to get good luck, to go beyond, to go higher each year. You understand? So it symbolizes your good luck. Go higher than before. So you make progress higher. So we also eat the cake called the 年糕, the same pronunciation. But that gao is cake. Cake pronounced the same because we like cake. We eat cake because gao sounds like a gao. So gao is a wish. It's especially for people who work in steps in bureaucracy or in company to get promoted. So gao is a good wish. If you want to, you can paint bamboo. It's 节节高升. Yeah.
It's like bobo gao. Okay.
Yeah, 步步高. Oh, 步步高. Yeah, 步步高.
It's similar.
Step by every step. 步步高 is another theme, a New Year's song.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 步步高. Victoria, maybe you can sing this 月儿高. I don't know. We can check on YouTube. Yeah. You can check on YouTube how it sounds. The music melody sound. It should be something like that. Very happy, upbeat. Yeah. So that's the painting of this.
Henry?
Yes.
What about using the koi jumping up a waterfall? Is that the same kind of thing? Or is
that's called the carp jumping. Yeah, that's for people to get through the entry exams for in the bureaucracy. Okay. Yeah, it's once you become these days this considered a college entry exam is like the Dragon Gate. It used to be that once you pass that exam, you got government position or jobs. Yeah. So it's a Dragon Gate folklore. The moon actually not has that meaning. It's a more symbol of romance, because we think there's a lady live in the moon and it's a couple. There's a couple story, love story, something like. She fly to the moon. I think so. I was thinking a person. You see this kind of 飞天 in the Buddhist cave paintings, with this kind of belt on the dress. So if you look if you feel that kind of flying angel kind of, you can also, you know, relate to that kind of feel. When you paint this kind of cloud, it feels like someone flying towards the moon with the belt dancing belt dancing, you know that, with a very long belt.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
it's a
Oh.
moon dance. It's like you dance in the space. They can
You mean the ribbon, right, Henry?
ribbon dance. Yeah, ribbon dance. Not a belt. I'm sorry. Ribbon
So
dance.
that was a ribbon.
Yeah, ribbon. You think that there's a dancing ribbon thing. Yeah, that's when I paint this, I have that kind of mind image or mind representation. You can think of the flying dragon or something else. So that's
Yeah.
that's the image of this. Yeah. So this is the more kind of original copy of that. I used a very intense watercolor brand. QOR, that's the brand. I don't know how to pronounce that. They said it will not fade, but still stands on this kind of paper. And this is also on with the watercolor. This color is not traditional Chinese color. It's a Western color. QOR is the brand name. The new watercolor media. I don't know what exactly it is. They said it will not fade. So that's kind of difficult to paint. Sometimes it's too strong. It could be. Anyway, any other comments, questions? I wish I had some time to finish. I'll maybe just leave it so you can see, you can still see the process I did, right? Okay, I'll send you these references and hope to see yours. If you want to show me, you can show it now. Let me see. Anybody can show us? Oh, Susan did one. Beautiful. Okay, good.
So what's the
Oh,
best way? What's the
Daisy.
best way to share?
You just hold it in the face, in front of your face.
Okay.
In gallery view, we can see everybody's.
All right.
Let me see if I can take a picture.
Oh, wow.
I had trouble with the fern.
There you go.
Yeah, let me do
Can you see
a
that?
whole group picture. Let me make a full screen. How to do that? Full screen view. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, I think everybody on the video can see. Oh, very beautiful. I like Joanne Sullivan. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that value, light, very cotton kind of cloth, very soft. I really like that. And the watts, econ watts, you're very nice, illuminated, very good. Daisy, very good. Yeah, very nice shape, very irregular shape. Susan, yeah, I like that. The light, the dark, I mean, the large block could be a little divided. That on your right side could be a little smaller to match to gradually become larger. Maybe not too sudden. Yeah, like yellow moon, M9, new. Yeah, that's very nice. But the clouds are not very showy, but I see there. Okay. Emily, very nice. I love that. It's a 5-star right now. I like that hollow, very warm kind of. Well, you did very good.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
all good, better than me. Juan, Pins. Okay, you didn't finish the pine, but I can see your clouds there. I'm very glad. Everybody did a very wonderful job. I'm very happy. Very happy. I thought this very difficult. Like I said, his son was required to copy 10 times not to give up, to be warned in the first. That's why I tell you it's a very difficult challenge. Ita,
Henry,
did you do
Henry?
any portrait today? Just kidding.
Henry, can you post a clear print of the poems so I could copy it?
Oh, the Chinese?
Yeah.
Of course. Okay.
You can just put it up on the website. Like,
Yeah, I do that too with email. Okay.
that would be awesome.
All right. Yeah, I'll translate this and then I put this on the website as well. Okay. So I'm very pleased with this class and really enjoyable. I didn't mention his bitter life. You know, I mentioned the circumstance, but just concentrate on art, get through this together and be safe and peace, everybody, for the new year.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you, Henry.
Henry,
Bye-bye.
thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Just ignore what's out there. Concentrate on the moon. Okay.
Henry,
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye, everybody.
Oh, I need to stop recording first.